Hi everyone, welcome back to another special episode of Smug Mug Live. This episode is featuring Flickr, of course, and today is going to be all about the winners announcement for Your Best Shot 2023. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before. If you're not familiar with myself, my name's Alastair Jolly. I'm a global brand manager for Flickr, and it's always my pleasure to host the announcement of the competitions that we run throughout the year. And it's great to have everybody here. I can already see so many of you in the live chat giving yourselves a shout out from all over the world. So thank you to those who are in there wishing us happy birthday as well, because Flickr's birthday is coming up this month as well. It's the big 20 for Flickr this year. So yeah, give yourself a shout in there. Let us know what part of the world you're coming from in the chat. Throughout this announcement, I will be keeping an eye on the chat. I'll also be posting in there links to the winners so that you can go have a closer look at the winning images on Flickr itself. I will bring them up on screen here, but the link will follow so that you can go check them out at your leisure. And of course, after the announcement, we'll also probably some point later today showcase them on a blog and across our social as well. So keep an eye out on our blog post on Flickr. And of course, I'm never alone when I come to do these announcements. I always have someone here to help me through the day and get through this competition. And of course, today I'm super delighted to welcome back to the show my dear friend Frederick Van Johnson. Hi, Frederick. How are you?
Alastair Jolly, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be here.
Good to see you, my friend. Of course, Frederick is the long-time host of This Week in Photography, the podcast that goes out every week at This Week in Photo. And, recently I've been co-hosting with him as well. So we're kind of used to being beside each other, although normally we're on the opposite sides of the screen. So it's a little bit confusing today.
It is. It is a little weird to be on this side. It's comforting and weird, to be in the path driving. So I'm gonna let you drive and enjoy the scenery.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Right. So again, so many people posting away in the chat, literally everywhere from Australia to the Netherlands, all across America, all across Europe. Some people very close to me in Scotland as well, giving themselves a shout out. So hi to everybody. I'm going to give everybody a little bit of warning that I am expect. There's a big storm rolling through this part of the world expected this evening. So this evening my time. So if this feed goes down, you'll know that my internet is cut out, and we will do something to try and save things. But hopefully we get through the next 45 minutes or so without any hiccups. And as I say every year as well, we have 7 categories this year in the competition. There can only be 7 winners, and yes, it's wonderful to win the competition, and everyone is thrilled. But I always say that being part of the community, being part of your best shot 2023 and being part of that photo pool is really where we all win. When we share those images, where we hear comments from the community within the chat, within Flickr itself, that's where, as a group, we're really winning. And yes, I wish we could all win the prizes, but just thank you so much to all the people who entered this year's competition. We had quite a lot of images to judge, right, Frederick?
Yeah, there was a ton, but it's always I don't want to say bittersweet, but it's an honor to be going through these images in the first place and being asked to share my opinions on the images. It's a little daunting and a little imposter syndrome to be going through there and leveling my humble comments on these great images. But at the same time, this is what it's all about, right? It's all about creating photos for other people to appreciate, not necessarily other photographers, of course. It's for other people to appreciate and or to tell a story that's burning you or whatever, right? It's That's what photography is about. So yeah, the submissions this time around were just, they're always great. This time is no exception, and I'm excited to have a little mini conversation about the AI entry that we have in there as well. So this is a good time. I'm excited to be a part of this.
Yes, we will definitely have conversations about that one. I am sure about
Mhm.
that. And as I mentioned about the fact that we're everybody who enters is a winner, albeit maybe not the prizes. There was a lovely comment came in on the chat from Ed Walker, who says, "I got 10,000 views on my entry, so it's been great." So that really is the big win for everybody. Engaging with the community, letting people see your work, sharing your work with the community, and letting people comment on it and giving it a like. I would thoroughly endorse getting into the group even after the competition, going through all the people who entered, and give a like and a thumbs up to all those people that took the time, took the effort, took a brave step in some cases to share the work. It's never easy sharing your work for a competition. So thank you to everybody who did that, and thanks for that great comment there, Ed. And of course, the pool is still there. The channel's there. There was nearly 11,500 members joined this year for the group. Somewhere close to 10,000 images in that pool. 10,000 images that myself and Frederick and the rest of the judging panel took the effort to go through. It's no mean feat. Judging a pool this size is always a difficult task. We have the 7 categories, and we're able to break down the big pool of 10,000 images down into smaller pools for each tag. So yeah, it was still pretty daunting even with each category. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of focus by the judging panel to go through all these images. So yeah, don't be too disheartened if your image is not picked. But yeah, it's a great pool. Go back through there, get involved in the discussions as well. So many discussions in the channel that you can go and look at. These discussions long after the competition's closed, and there's lots of great chat about categories that weren't even in the competition. So yeah, well worth the look there. So go back through there. And before we start the drum rolls and start showing the winning images, I do want to give a huge shout out to our dear friends at Peak Design. Peak Design, certainly the equipment of choice for Frederick and I. We have our fair share of Peak Design equipment between both of us. Not quite their entire catalogue, but pretty close.
Pretty
And
close. Pretty close.
it's pretty close. We've been supporters of Peak Design since their very first Kickstarter, many years ago, and they are fantastic prize sponsors of every competition we do here at Flickr. And this year, they gave all the winners the choice of any of their camera bags. So rather than dictating what bag was the prize or what equipment was the prize, the winners basically get to choose any backpack that they feel, or any bag that suits their needs, for the prize this year, which is pretty cool. So yeah, radical company, Peak Design. Go check them out. A huge thank you to them, and we really hope that everybody who gets a prize this year from Peak Design by winning the competition really enjoys that piece of equipment, and as well as the prize from Peak Design, everybody who wins the category also gets a year of Flickr Pro, and if they're already a Flickr Pro member, then we'll extend that another year for them. So yeah, some nice little prizes on top of the main prize, which is being part of this group and winning each category. So shall we get into it, Frederick?
We should. We absolutely should. There's a lot to go through. Just a quick thought on Peak Design before we leave off of that. So I've known them since around the beginning. I covered their first Kickstarter launch with the Everyday Messenger, and or well, the first bag launch was the Everyday Messenger. The other products before that. But the one thing that I just wanted to say in there, I know the team over there. I know the folks behind the brand, as it were, and the one thing that keeps me going back to Peak Design. In fact, I just bought one, like, you know, down at the store in San Francisco, and a bunch of the little. But the one thing that keeps me going back there is the relentless and obsessive attention to detail on the bags, which kind of mirrors sensibility. So I love the bag. They're full of little surprise and delight features that you're like, oh, okay, somebody did kind of think this through a little bit. So just wanted to throw that in there. Not anyone that's holding a Peak Design commercial, but I've been using them forever. I spend my own money on Peak Design. It's not like, oh, I'm just talking about them because I have to. I would be using Peak Design if they weren't a sponsor, or if I didn't know anyone at the company, I'd be using the gear from over there. So if you're a fan of quality and attention to detail, go check them out.
Yeah, Frederick, I'm going to take 1 second here just to let you check your microphone. You don't sound like you're on the microphone you would normally be talking to me on. So, folks, give me
Yeah,
one wee second while Frederick just checks he's on the right settings there, because we want to hear him loud and clear today. So just to recap, we'll go through each category. We'll go through the 7 winners. I will post in the chat a link to that image on Flickr so that you can all go look at it either very quickly as I'm talking, or as Frederick and I are talking about the image. There was quite a panel of judges here between Frederick, myself, and internally at Flickr, within the community team and others, that go through all these images in each category. We narrow them down to a short list of what we think are our favourites, and then we get in a room and we battle it out with each other to narrow it down to these final 7 images. So it's always quite a slog. So thank you for bearing with us while we get the competition closed, and it takes a little bit of time for us to get these judged, but we are going to get on with it. So let me just check with Frederick. Are you with us, Frederick? Let me hear you say
I
something.
am still here. My things haven't changed much. Can you hear me at all right now? Or
Yeah, you sound like you're on your Bluetooth
worst case, I'll
headset.
switch.
Yeah, you sound like
Yeah,
you're on
no,
your
I'm not.
Bluetooth, but it
I'm
keeps
on this
cutting out.
one. I
Maybe
should
it's
be
a
on
noise
this one.
gate or
I'm
something.
gonna switch. See if that fixes it. Here we go.
I think
So
it's a
now we're
noise
on
gate.
this one.
Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, you ready,
Yeah. All right.
Frederick?
We'll see. I'm ready.
Well, let's start with our first category. So, let me just cue up the image. So we'll have a bit of a drum roll. And the first category we're going to discuss is the people and portrait category. Now, this is, if anybody's watched these live streams before, they know this is one of my favorite categories. I am a people photographer for many, many years. It's what I really love. And it was a great category, so many great images. And we did get down to some battling to finally get one that we all agreed on. And I'm delighted to say that the winner of the people and portrait category this year is this incredible image by Sean Sweeney, and it's titled Snow Beauty. It was taken at the Martin Luther King Embrace Monument in Boston Common, in Boston, Massachusetts. Frederick, while I post the image, I'll let you start with your comments about it.
Sure, absolutely. Black and white, first of all, I'm a big fan because one of the reasons why black and white in many cases is effective is because it removes a compositional element and focus and forces us or guides us to more clearly to the subject, which in this case is this young lady. The scene is great, right? This is portrait street photography ish, and the addition, or not the addition, the feature that is the snow falling on her awesome hair and on her jacket, and the contrast of her skin against the background. All of that just sort of comes together. The expression on her face, looking into the camera, I dig it. Right? It's not. This is not a shot that's like, it's going to change the world, but it is a shot that captures street photography, the essence of street photography, the candid nature of it, the personality of this person. The location is not really evident in the shot, but we can tell by the caption where it is. But just the direct eye contact with the camera, the snow falling, and just her having a good time in the shot. It really makes it for me. That was one of the reasons why I was excited to look at this one, because it is what's a good way to put it? It is technically perfect and aesthetically pleasing, right? Those two things are the bits of the sandwich that you want in the shot, and it hits them both. Hits them both on the head. What do you think, Alistair?
Yeah, that was a great summary of it. Certainly, the panel. This was number one on my list from day one in this category. It stood out so much for me. The contrast of the black and white, the exposure, the subject matter with the snow that's falling. Just makes
Mhm.
it a super punchy image. A fantastic expression on her face. I love the way the snow's being caught with a little bit of movement. With the snowflakes that are falling, it's always nice to see that movement of the snow. Just beautifully lit for an external, sort of urban portrait session. It's kind of candid in its nature, but very professionally done. So
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the story of the busyness that's going on round about the subject here. It's quite clear that there's you get this sense of people being out, kind of almost celebrating the snow in a way. Maybe maybe not now after months of it in Boston, but certainly at this point there's not a lot of snow about. It looks like the first kind of snowfall. And you just get the sense that there's people out there kind of enjoying it, and this the subject matter here, the young ladies just really enjoying the sense of snow falling on her, and beautifully captured by Sean Sweeney. Congratulations on winning the first category of today, which is the people in portrait category. Congratulations, sir. Your prizes will be on their way to you in the near future. We hopefully will hear from you in the channel if any of our winners are on. Give yourself a shout out if you're watching today. But yeah, it's a tough category. There's a couple of categories specifically are very well entered. There's a lot of entries, and this is one of the categories that had a real big entry. And it's always kudos to win any of the categories, but this one for me personally was one of the categories I loved judging. So congratulations, Sean, and yeah, congratulations to everybody who entered their people pictures, their portraits, not just portraits of people. There was all sorts of portraits in there. So yeah, congratulations. Do you know? I'm hesitating because I thought I saw Sean's name say hello earlier in the chat, and here he is. So
Oh,
Sean,
Sean's in the
giving
chat.
it.
Yeah,
Sean's
I
in the
see
chat.
him.
I saw him giving himself a shout out, and I hoped he would say something. Sean, you are very welcome. Thank you for entering it. Congratulations. You can see lots of people giving you cheers and thumbs up in the chat there across our platforms. So yeah, well done on the first category.
Very good. Congratulations, sir.
Right, let me hide that screen while I move to the next image in the background here. Lots of buttons to press. Hopefully we get them all right here. Thank you to everybody who's engaging in the chat and giving shout out to Sean. I love that community aspect where we all celebrate each other. So well done. Right, next category, one of the big ones, one of the biggest entry categories. What do you think? What was the biggest entered category, Frederick?
Of course, we all know. Of course, it's always landscape. Always
Landscape.
landscape.
Yeah. So the next category is the landscape category. Is always a big one. Makes it, we're going to say this a lot today. It makes it difficult for us to judge because there's so much. But the next one again was in a lot of people's shortlists within the judging panel. When it's in everybody's shortlist, it has a very, very high chance of not being argued about too much when everybody has a kind of consensus. So this one was picked very early on by everybody. So without further ado, the winner of the landscape category is Chris Peterson with this beautiful image called Back to the Future. Fun little title. It's the sound like the flux capacitors going on the road there. But this is a beautiful image taken by Chris, who's hiked to this incredible vantage point. And there's quite a nice little bit of detail in his description within the Flickr page itself. Where he's hiked to quite a high point and waited patiently for a car to drive around this sort of bend in the road here. So it's quite incredible. Frederick, let's hear your thoughts while I post this in the description.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So just a couple of thoughts on this shot. First is great shot, by the way. Congratulations on creating this. B, from just a compositional standpoint, what drew me to the shot is I'm a fan of a couple of things that this shot does. One is landscape photography. Who doesn't like landscape photography? Mainly because I can't do it well, right? So I can appreciate what a great landscape photograph looks like. Two, I'm a fan of kind of the yin yang juxtaposition of colors, where we've got our warm colors on the lower side because of our long exposure, and the light source, and then in the foliage and the fall leaves and all that, and then the more bluish, cooler tones on the top. So those cold and warm tones together work together. We've seen them a lot in Hollywood, the orange and teal, and just sort of that the combination of those two colors together in different strengths. It really works here. So those two things, and then the third thing is I'm a huge fan of the idea of the camera as a time machine. Right, it's time travel. You can stretch time out, compress time, chop time up into little bits, and do all kinds of things with just your little time machine, your camera. And our artist has done this here as well. We stretched out the exposure over time to get the headlights drawing that interesting line through the scene, which draws our eye directly into where they want our eyes to go. So yeah, big fan. Very nice. This is a shot that I could see in a series or even standalone, printed and hanging on a wall somewhere. So very nice.
Well, yeah, absolutely. This is a great shot to have in your own house if you took it. But this is a lot of commercial use. I could see this in a hotel
Yeah.
lobby or something. That's an incredible shot. Photography. Has there's only a few elements in photography. There's light, there's composition, and there's time. And this is a great example of combining those elements into a great piece of storytelling. Yes, it would be an absolute beautiful up here. Looking at Chrissy's notes, it's in British Columbia, Seaton Lake overview in British Columbia, Canada. A beautiful part of the world to be in. It would be a great image just with the empty road, but to have that forethought to create a composition that's very pleasing, create an exposure that gives you the length of time to catch these trails. And I love the light in the trees around the immediate vicinity of the road, the way the cars lit up the trees, and yeah, great
Yeah.
exposure on the sidewalls of the mountain. Just really, really wonderful exposure. Chris goes by the name of Foggy Lens Photography,
Hmm.
and again is with us today in the chat. So there's a little comment from Chris. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. You're very welcome. And then also keeping a beady eye. I also saw him thanking everybody because there's so many great comments coming in for Chrissy's image. Loving the combination of the cold and the warm light. Loving the
Hmm.
exposure. But also, inspiring people. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, wow, they want to go try it. They want to go find this spot. They want to climb these mountains." And I love when we take photographs that motivate people and inspire people to click the shutter. It's what we really want to do at Flickr, is make people take photographs. So, yeah, well done, Chris. Beautiful image. Uh, Thank you, everybody, for the great comments there. I will queue up the next image. And the next one is the wildlife and nature category. This is a category that again, they're all really popular, but I would say this one is probably the one that had the most variety for me of people you know interpreting that category in different ways.
Yeah.
Wildlife and nature. We had everything from animals to flora and fauna, and even some landscape within this category. A little bit of crossover in this category as well. It was really, really quite varied. It makes it pretty difficult, Frederick, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. In this shot, it's always difficult to get a shot in such a vast. I mean, all of these categories were vast, right? But this one, very vast, right? There's so many different ways to interpret this. And looking at this shot, the first thing that struck me was nature, right, and how amazing nature is. This is the whole golden mean or Fibonacci curve spiral, and using that as a compositional element. So
Yeah.
these shots, yeah, a shot like this in the pastel colors behind it, sort of popping our subject out of the shot. I thought, Alistair, initially, I was looking at the shot and I was thinking, the diagonal bit at the bottom left of the shot. I was thinking, you know what? If only that weren't there. And then I'm looking at it further. I'm like, no, we need that there. That
Yeah, we do.
anchors the spiral in something, and the fact that it's at an angle adds a little bit more interest. Because if it was horizontal perfectly, it'd be a different shot completely. The fact that it's diagonal there, and then we've got our spiral coming off of it, it all just sort of works together. So
Yeah,
kudos, very
you
very nice.
you jumped the gun because I never actually announced who it was there. So
Oh, you
let
didn't?
me
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
I'm looking at it on my screen.
let me say a
I'm like,
huge
oh, I can't wait to talk about this.
congratulations, yeah, to Sally Rose Dolac, who took this wonderful image that she titled "Tropical Tendril Treasure." There's a tongue twister for you.
Yes.
Tropical
Yeah.
Tendril
Yeah.
Treasure. Sally, congratulations on winning this category within wildlife and nature. As I was saying in the lead up to it, we had everything from big vistas to big animals to tiny, tiny little moments and tiny aspects of the world when it comes to macro, and then ultimately we all settled on this wonderful image to yourself. As you said, Frederick, there's
Mhm.
a very simple image, but lots of elements to it. Do you want to come back in and say anything else about it?
Yeah, so just the last bit I was going to say is the contrast again, composition, right? It's all about composition, whether it's the framing of the image or using color as a compositional element or depth as a compositional element, even lack of color, like we talked about in that first image, as a compositional element. This one, color as a compositional element in the pastel range with this green spiral popping out in the foreground, but strategically placed the red behind the green to pop it out. So not obviously not an accident, right? So all
Mm,
to a layperson looking at this shot and just appreciating it on face value, which is what photography is all about, instantly pleasing, right? To a photographer that's looking at this and sort of dissecting what went into it and understanding the work and the artisanship of this, even more spectacular. So very good, very well done.
yeah, and it's an interesting point. This is a in some ways a very minimal shot. It's a very minimal shot, and yet it's an image with so many elements to it. There's so much going on when you start to look at the image, as you say, where the petal curves at the forefront, in the foreground there, the way the red colour's positioned to really give such contrast between the finishing point of the spiral. That to the trained photographer, that's not an accident. That is considered and thought and worked on for a long time. And what's really interesting was within our judging panel, we have very experienced people within the judging panel, like Frederick and myself, who have been, photographers for a long time, who have judged competitions for decades, who have critiqued images, on a consistent basis. We also have other people who are more in the hobby photography world within the Flickr judging panel, and then we also have members of our community team who, some of them would not describe themselves as photographers and more community orientated. But this is the type of image where when you go to our shortlist and that image is in everybody's shortlist, that's when this works for everybody, and there's enjoyment in this image for that whole gambit of people that are going to look at it. So Sally, you should be really, really proud of this image. One that, as I say, looks so simple to start with, but is so much detail, so much thought, so much consideration, and so much skill in capturing something this pin sharp at such a minute scale. So really loved by the whole panel, and getting a lot of love on the community chat as we're speaking. So yeah, lots of people really loving this image. I don't see Sally in the chat there, unfortunately.
I
Maybe
don't
not.
see Sally in there.
Yeah, maybe not able
You
to
know, just
join.
one other quick thought on this, Alistair, is a lot of photographers that I speak to, well, we as photographers are full of excuses, right? Like I could shoot like that if I could shoot like Joe McNally if I had his cameras, or I could shoot like Alistair if I had that long lens, or if I have these lighting. There's always these excuses, but a shot like this, you could do this in your kitchen, right? If you could set up something like this, or you could travel to a someplace with botany and take it. But a close-up shot like this that is just using the raw compositional elements of photography to tell the story, who cares where it came from, and who cares what the circumstances were that led to what it is? You got the shot, whether it was in your backyard or in the botanical gardens. You got the shot, and it works. And it doesn't have to be, oh, wildlife and nature. I got to go. I got to suit up and head to Yosemite to get a good shot to enter into this. No, it could be something as simple as this, and simple and less is more, I guess, is the
Yeah.
takeaway.
Yeah, unless it's sometimes even harder though, right? I mean, creating a
Yeah.
minimal image like this can, in many cases, be much harder than being outdoors somewhere great vista in front of you. As I mentioned, it's a category that has a lot of interpretation. As a wildlife and nature category is always got quite a lot of genres that it can encompass. So well done, Sally, on standing above the rest when it came to us looking for a winner today. And again, congratulations on your prizes, and hope that they help you share more with the community and take more pictures. Right,
Yeah.
let me hide that screen while I go to the next one. And the next category is street and documentary category.
Hmm.
Again, another genre I personally love. I'm a great fan of street photography. Again, a lot of times it includes people within them, so that's maybe why I am drawn to it. But let's see. So the winner of Your Best Shot 2023 Street and Documentary category, drumroll, is this incredible images called Pigeons of Balboa by Rui Pala. Rui, phenomenal shot. And apologies if I mispronounce people's names as we say them, but we do our best. But Rui, this image is just stunning. Again, for me, it encompasses so much of what I love about street photography, and just captured so well. Rui is from Portugal, and this image, I believe, was taken. Looking at the notes on the image, was taken in Lisbon, I believe.
Hmm.
Let me get that right. No, sorry, this was taken in Porto, in Portugal. Rui lives in Lisbon. But yeah, an incredible image. For me, I've said this many times during many of the competitions. For me, it's all about storytelling. I
Yeah.
love when an image tells a story. I'm just posting the in the chat so people can go have a look at it. I love when an image really tells a story, and this is one of those ones that has a story jumping right out at you. It's an image that has this great story of just a lady passing through, walking up this beautiful flight of stairs that are exposed so well. When you have natural light coming in, what looks like natural light coming in from the upper level, you have this lower level that has these fluorescent tube lighting on the left. Probably quite difficult conditions to try and balance the light, but the exposure for me is spot on. I love the composition of, in this case, kind of losing the bottom of the staircase, because it makes it feel like this kind of endless walkway, this endless spiral staircase that you're not quite sure how far down it goes. Combine all that with this sudden burst of life and hustle and bustle of all these pigeons. I'm sure most people looking at this image can probably hear this image, right? You can probably
Yeah.
recognize the noise that's happening right at this moment, because many of us have experienced that moment, whether you're in, Central Park, or whether you're just walking through your own town or something, and there's a bunch of pigeons and you startle them and they all take off in flight, and we all recognize that noise. I always think a photograph works really well when you can hear the photograph. I know it sounds completely bizarre, but hopefully you understand what I mean. When you can taste a photograph or smell a photograph or hear a photograph, it's taking you somewhere beyond just the photograph itself, and that's when it really starts to tell a story. And this is one of these moments. Sorry, I love this one a lot, so I'm rambling a little bit, but there's even parts of me think of, oh, this poor lady, she's wearing entirely black dress and has just startled a bunch of pigeons. There's those little elements in it that go through my head. So really love it. Frederick, hopefully I haven't said too much, but what about yourself in this image?
No, yeah, yeah, I echo what you, Alistair, on this shot, and the yeah, I never thought of it like that, but you're absolutely right with a photograph making you relive experiences, even experiences that weren't captured in that photograph. I know, being from Chicago, what flapping wings of pigeons sounds like, and just all the little things that goes along with that. And looking at this shot, like when I kind of take a step back and look at this shot compositionally, I'm thinking it's a nice yin yang kind of composition we have going on here, with the left side of the frame creating the yin, and the stairs on the right, and the pigeons and the lighter part creating the yang. The darker areas leading up into the white areas is sort of naturally guide you up the steps, from the lower steps all the way up to the upper steps. So as you're going up those steps, the story starts forming. Like, okay, these pigeons were there minding their own business, and you're probably there all day, and then this human came in and disrupted their little party, right? And so they just sort of scattered like they do. But then I was also thinking, from a story, like you're absolutely right, Alistair. Photographs are all about story. The great ones are all about story, and the stories that form in our heads are different from others, right? So you may see something different, or the feelings that this shot evokes from you may be different what they evoke from me. What I get out of this, because my brain is weird, right? So what I get out of this shot is, the everyone's heading somewhere. Like, where's the party? These pigeons are going there. There's some kind of event happening on the roof, right? And everyone's heading in the same direction to get up there. But when you create a shot that evokes some kind of story in the viewer, whether it be a small story or a political story or a love story or a science fiction, some kind of thread of something in that shot, along with the memories that it evokes, it just makes it powerful. That's why Alistair gets lost in the shot, right? Because it's taking him somewhere and making him relive those even smaller slices of memory that the shot kind of represents in his brain. This is kind of like I think of photographs in many ways, especially street photography, as bookmarks, like memory bookmarks. So we're looking at this shot; it's a bookmark that is bookmarking this feeling, this look, those sounds, and this story in our head. So never will you look at the shot again and not think that they're going to some party on the roof, right? So it's a cool shot. Congratulations.
Yeah, let's hope they made the party with their dress in one piece. Congratulations. Right. How many are we down? We're down four, only three to go. So let's set up the next one. And the next one is the fine art category. Again, a category that can be interpreted many, many ways. So we were able to, be see and be entertained by so many different types of images within this category. But there can be only one winner. So moving on, let's look at the winner of the fine art category, which is by Ines Maria, and it is called Wings of Vienna, a beautiful architectural study of this incredible building. Frederick, I'll let you take things off while I post the link.
Yeah, yeah, sure. This is a stunning shot, for one, and I could see this as being printed big, like you're saying, sitting in some .com tech company in Silicon Valley where I am, or any place, right? This is just a beautiful geometric shot that is filled with rectangles and curves and atmosphere, and the choice of processing is brilliant, and the sense of mystery that I have when I look at this shot, because you could sit here and just look at it and think, okay, yeah, I know what this is. This is someone standing at the base of a building and looking up, or is it? Right? So it has that level of mystery to it, and it hits on a number of cylinders. It hits on the simplicity side of it. It hits on the symmetry side of it. The processing is great. Normally, I'm not that much of a fan of blank space, and we've got a lot of blank space in the shot at the top and the bottom left and the bottom right. But it works. Well, the blank space is now, instead of just neglected pixels, the blank space is clearly a compositional element with a little broken piece at the top there that is adding even more interest to the shot. Like, what is that? What is that hanging out up there? I must know what's happening in this shot. So really, really well done. This is a really, really tight shot, and yeah, I'd be proud to hang this anywhere. So congratulations.
Yeah, and same thoughts. We are, the world is blessed by incredible architects creating stunning buildings. I know there's a long thread of love of architecture that goes through a lot of photographers, and and wanted to be architects. There's this quite common theme. You and I know a lot of people who have had architecture careers before becoming photographers, and watching the incredible buildings that these incredible architects and constructors make then be created into incredible photography by these such skilled photographers. I can get lost in this world for a long time, looking at the shapes and form, and I'm sure that the architect who designed this building would love to see photographic interpretations of his their incredible architecture showcased in this way. And if I've gone down a lot of rabbit holes of when looking at these winners and then going looking at their portfolios, and if you go look at Innes's work, it's absolutely incredible to see some of the skill of the photography in these galleries. So love the form, love the shape, love the exposure. So many thoughts about this path that it creates of where it's taken us, taken us up, taken us along. It's and it can be interpreted in so many ways. I love the cleanliness of it. Very fortunate that all the windows are really nicely clean, and there's no stickers or things hanging on the windows. So I don't know whether it was fairly new construction that maybe wasn't operational yet, or they're just very strict about people keeping their offices clean. But yeah, absolutely love it. Really, really well received. A lot of rules in photography. We all know all the rules in photography, but a lot of them are there to be broken. And this is an image that is pretty central on the horizon. It's like two halves of the photograph, but this one works really well. Just the way the dip comes down into the bottom half of the image, and then you have this central horizon leading to this little break in the clouds. I think it is that just is enough to give it that little bit of attention at the top. So yeah, again, great category to win. Great body of work by everybody who entered. Please go show some love to our winners and give them some more stars in there and some more likes, but then go look at their bigger bodies of work, and then you will see that as well. Right, I just want to address something. I've just been reading the chat, and there's been a few comments in the chat I want to address about Rui's picture, and some people mentioning that it was a Henri Cartier-Bresson image. I think Rui himself is probably dealing with misappropriation miscrediting within the Pinterest world and stuff, where people have taken his image and associated it with Henri. But I'm familiar with Rui's work, and I think people are being misinformed by saying that it's someone else's work. So I just want to snub that out before that conversation goes any further.
Well done.
It's just been misappropriated on some sites that make people think it's other people's work. So without further ado, congratulations, Ines. Again, your prizes will be winging their way to you. I said winging because look, it's like a wing. Do you get it? No. Okay. Right. So, Frederick, the next category is the AI artistry category. Now, for the last few years, we've had, virtual categories where we've had virtual images. We've had virtual images just in open categories. So, it's a category that has had lots of conversations over time. I know it's an area that
Hmm.
you have lots of conversations about on a daily basis. So this year we thought we would open up to a specific category for AI artistry, which again still encompasses a lot of genres, right? There's a lot of interpretation
Hmm.
of, what is AI artistry and where is, how is it being formed. So how did you feel about the submissions to this categories? Were you impressed with all the work in there?
Yeah, impressed. Yeah, impressed is a word. Yeah, it's stunned, impressed, excited. AI, yeah, as we get deeper into 2024, which is almost a month in already, right? 11 months left. As we get deeper in, the AI stuff just keeps heating up, both from a technological and innovation standpoint, and also from a controversial. Is it real photography? Is it cheating? Is it, plagiarism? All that stuff, misappropriation of data to create these models that create the images. So all that notwithstanding, which I'm sure will get sorted out in the wash, looking at images like you're going to bring up on the screen shortly, my personal opinion about this stuff is that AI, one way to look at AI is that it's a tool, right? Okay, it's just another tool. It's like Photoshop. It's like whatever. It's another tool that we use to tell stories. But I think in a lot of ways, it's much, much more, which we're still figuring out, right? I feel like it can be a tool, but it's also a co-conspirator or a collaborator on an image. And you are part of the team that is whether it's a small team or a large team, but you're part of the team that's bringing that image out of the ether into existence so that we look at it through a prompt or through whatever post processing you do and all that. So no longer is it, at least when you're speaking in an AI context, it's not like, okay, I'm looking at this blank document that I just command in on, and now I got to make some greatness, or I just took this photo and I got to, make this. I got to bring out what this photo is through my post processing skills, or I'm going to create a composite, and this AI shot's going to be a part of it. I'm going to put my own photography in there. However you decide to execute it, this AI stuff becomes a partner in your storytelling adventure if you choose to have it be that. So yeah, I think, playing around with this stuff and diving into it and understanding what it is and what it isn't and what its capabilities are key, especially now. And as we enter 2024, we're kind of at the, not at the beginning. We're kind of, a little bit up the hill towards what is this stuff from an imaging standpoint or a creativity standpoint. What are these newfound superpowers that we have what are they going to evolve into, and what's this ultimate sort of field that AI is going to allow us to realize. So yeah, there's a lot to understand, there's a lot to play with, and there's a lot to, if you're one of those people that's doom and gloom and afraid and like, oh, Terminator, it's coming, it's gonna take everything, it's the end of life as we know it. That's one way to approach it. Another way to approach it is, here's another tool, just like Photoshop. When Photoshop showed up, or the camera, or digital when that showed up, or
Hmm.
laser writer printers when those showed up, and how everything just overnight changes, and then boom, we have new things to kind of play with and understand. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
excited, and these shots that we saw in here, Alistair, are just, oh my god,
some
yeah,
great
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, they're crazy. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we've had lots of internal conversations over years of doing this
Yeah.
competition where we've been looking to try and do due diligence when we're picking categories for the nature category to make sure they haven't been AI generated and that they are nature photographers in that sense. Now you and I can remember times when in competitions you weren't allowed to enter anything that was photoshopped. They had to be
Yeah.
untouched photographs, and there was a big outcry then, and we kind of moved beyond that, and now we assume every photograph is in some way utilizing some kind of Photoshop type tool to get it out of the digital camera, make it look its best, and post it. And now we see people adapting and adopting these AI tools to again share and communicate their creative visions, right? And
Yeah.
it's great to see some of those images. It's also interesting, as we do our due diligence to make sure AI is not creeping into some of the categories where it isn't appropriate. There's we're also we're also seeing people posting images into the AI category that you and I would say were just a photoshopped image. It wasn't AI generated. So kind of doing due
Yeah.
diligence in both directions nowadays. But
Yeah.
let's
It's
reveal.
percentages too, right, Alistair? Like, I mean, it's like how if you say, yeah, you can submit AI, or this is an AI category, how much of it? Like, is it elements of this image are AI, or the whole thing is AI? After 50%, you have to consider this image AI, or below. So there's a lot of open questions right now. It's very nebulous, which makes it exciting because there's a lot of stuff to figure out. Really, Lewis and Clark all over again.
So let's reveal the winner of the first time for this AI artistry category. This beautiful image by Gabriel Rodriguez, and it's titled "The Four Seasons." And this was an image within this category that again was in everybody's shortlist, jumped out straight away just with the quality of what had been produced here using the tools that they used. Gabriel mentions that he's been creating AI art. He's been creating photography since 1977, so he's been going a long time without using AI tools, but particularly here using DALL-E and Midjourney to create this interpretation of the four seasons. Yeah, incredible shot yourself, Frederick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, using these tools are ridiculous. I mean, in a good way. And they're getting better and better every day as the people behind the tools figure out new ways to solve problems like hands or things like that, right? So things are, yeah, it's coming a long way, and I think part of the equation that we'll need to grapple with, or that we are grappling with, is what is what, like what is real, and does the word real even exist in this context anymore? Did reality die, back in 2023, 22? And now the assumption is you have to assume that things are not, quote, real. They are. And does it matter if they're, quote, real? Like, do we need to be hung up on that? Oh, it's not proper if there wasn't a shutter and a mirror and, all these things involved. If those weren't involved, then we should somehow discount the work. I think looking at this stuff, when my daughter and I sit down, and we were literally a couple days ago having a conversation about AI, and she's 10, and we were talking about how the idea of telling stories has changed, like from her perspective, even in her short lifetime. Like, we'll do this experiment where we'll give AI a sentence fragment and have it create a children's book based on just a simple fragment of an idea. And then what we did in that exercise was then go on and illustrate that idea and end up with a fully illustrated story from whole cloth that could be published, right? And that wasn't possible a couple of years ago, at least not to a civilian. So, that kind of stuff, and using it for images like this to realize and be inspired by a another artist's work, and take elements of that and your own, and kind of synthesize it all together and create something new and impactful, is just insane. And then you look at the shot, Alistair, and I'm speaking to an audience of people who are photographers, right? So there's one perspective looking at this shot. It's like, okay, is it real? Oh, I can tell. Well, the pupils are whatever. You're going to get into the pixel level and dissect it. When the reality is, people that are looking at this shot, for the most part, are going to look at it on face value and in the context of the story that the photographer is trying to tell. So the fact that the chef used wooden knives or whatever in the kitchen to create this award-winning steak that you are now enjoying is beside the point. It's all about the dish that you are consuming now, not how the dish got to your table, unless you are another chef. Then you
Yeah.
care.
right? So that's the nuance here, right? We get
Yeah.
in our little echo chamber of reality, and it's not real, so I have to discount that. Blah blah blah. I'm a real photographer. I've been shooting since the '80s, and whatever. When the people that you are shooting for, the viewers of your work, couldn't care less. They want to look at the work on face value, unless it's egregiously horrible because this person has seven hands or something. But if it's in service of the story, it's in service of the story, and all bets are off as to how you got to that conclusion.
Yeah. What I love is when, artists, whether photographer or traditional artists, use the tools at their hands to create an interpretation or create a way of visualizing and showcasing and sharing that vision that they've had, that thing that they've pre-visualized in their head. There's a lot of AI now is just speculative, right? People just creating AI without really knowing what's going to come. When you dig deeper into this work and the work of Gabriel, Gabriel's created, digging into this, Gabriel's created a whole body of work based around the concept of reimagining, create, creating portraits of women based on famous Italian painters to interpret this concept of four seasons as part of this body of work. So Gabriel has
Yes.
this vision, this body of work that he has pre-visualized and is trying to interpret for the world, and that's the starting point of great photography. What paintbrush you use, what type of paint, what type of oils, what manufacturer camera, all that is kind of irrelevant if you're able for people to connect and see the story that you visualized in your head. And that's what Gabriel has done here, using the tools and the craft and his knowledge of photography going back decades. So a fantastic shot, just loved it. Whether you want to call it shot, an image, I really don't care. In this category, it was the winner, and it was really well received by the entire panel. And congratulations on being the first person to win the AI artistry category of your best shot at Flickr. So, Gabriel, your prizes will be on, and I'm sure you're in for a lot of conversation and a lot of chat on that image. But thank you to everybody in the category, in the live chat today, congratulating and being so supportive of this new category. And this time next year, that category is going to look very, very different, and it's going to be moving at a pace that we hope we can keep up with. So stay tuned for some great developments, I'm sure, in that category going forward. Right,
Yes,
that brings us
absolutely.
to our last one, Frederick. Last one of
Woo!
the day. I said it would take us about 45 minutes, so we're almost there. So the last category is a category we've had for a few years now. It's through their lens category to specifically look at images, from categories that have been underrepresented in the past, and we've always loved supporting this category and seeing the work that has been created in there. And I can't wait to show you this next image, because this one for me was actually a contender in other categories, but in this category it really stood out. I'll give you a spoiler. It's dogs, and I have been very fortunate over the years to be a guest judge at Dog Photographer of the Year competition run by the Kennel Club down in London. Flickr and Smugmug have been sponsors for many, many years. So I've judged a lot of dog photography, but this one by Barbara van der Linde is an absolutely stunning shot. It's called Boet and Harvey. I'm assuming that is the names of our subjects here. But this is an image that you could have won the portrait category. Like, it's stunningly captured. The lighting, the composition, the detail, the sharpness, the expressions, the interaction between both these dogs. I love that, one of them, my interpretation, what the one on the left is a big dog that's at ground level, and then you've got the little shorter leg one that's up on a stool, just to bring them, eye to eye. Absolutely love this, yeah, just beautifully handled. This would have, if I'd saw this during Dog Photography of the Year competition in past years while at the Kennel Club as their judge, this would have been up there amongst some of the best dog photography in the world, to be honest. So, congratulations, Barbara. Absolutely adore this image.
Yeah,
Frederick,
yeah, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Yeah, yeah. I'm a fan of dogs. Even though, if
you're a
I
cat
had to
guy.
pick, it'd have to be cats. Just saying. It's just cats are pretty. But no, this is a fantastic shot. So looking at the shot from a compositional standpoint, yes, the darkness and the fact that these dogs are kind of coming out of the abyss, nothing in the background to distract us, right? So love that. The dog on the left looking directly into the camera, highlights are on point on both dogs because you want to have the highlights in the eyes to make the connection, right? So we have our highlights in the eyes and a little bit of shine on the nose. That's really all you need, right, for these animals. But the fantastic fur on both of these dogs, and the what was that, Alistair? What was that famous painting with the farmers, right? The farmer and his wife standing out front with the pitchfork.
Oh gosh,
I'll find it. You know what I'm
where are you
talking
going
about.
with
It's
this?
like,
Yeah, I'm intrigued where you're going
it
with
reminds me of that shot.
the
If
expressions.
the darker, well, yeah, and the composition. If the darker colored dog had a pitchfork, would kind of be like that shot. No, but I love this shot. I love it from the standpoint of it's very simple. These dogs are probably very frenetic animals, right? But we caught them in a moment of peace, and they're just kind of hanging out there. And the expression, even solo, right? I could see two shots here, two separate portraits of the dog on the left and the dog on the right, but put together, it's almost, I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on it, but I love the shot.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the notes on the image that we have. Barbara
Yes,
is
Patrice, Patricia, American Gothic. Yes, that's the one I was talking about. American
oh
Gothic.
yeah, that's the image. Yeah, absolutely. I know the
Hmm.
pitchfork one now. Barbara is from the Netherlands, so we should see this image is mooi, yeah. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful image. Congratulations, Barbara. Really classically done. Yeah, really. I'm not sure which one's Boat and which one's Harvey, but if Boat's the one on the left, the expression on that dog is just to die for. It's almost like get me out of here. Why am I having to be next to him? Type of expression, just absolutely, absolutely love it.
The old
And
married couple.
yeah, it's just so sweet. I'm sure I don't know if they're Barbara's dogs or whether they're photographs that she's portraits that she's done for someone else. But I'm sure the owners of those dogs, whether it's yourself, Barbara, or they were clients or something, they have this hanging loud and proud somewhere in their home because it's absolutely stunning. Absolutely love it. So congratulations. I see a comment here says Barbara here. So hopefully that's you, Barbara, G&B Shoemaker. She's maybe joined on someone else's account, but Barbara, well done. Stunning, stunning image, and congratulations on your prizes. Look forward to seeing what everybody does with their peak design bags and where it gets them and where what they utilize them for. But Frederick, that's it. That's another
Yeah,
year's
that's it.
your best shot over and done with. So thank you to
Yeah.
everybody who entered this year, to all the tens of thousands of you who joined the channel, entered your images, made this such a fun, if difficult, job for us on the judging panel to come up with these winners. Hopefully everybody appreciates these winners and gives them some likes and some great comments on their Flickr feeds. Go share the love with them. Big shout out again to our sponsors at Peak Design. Thank you so much for supporting the competition yet again this year. Frederick, thank you for your time and your thoughts on these images. I'm sure everybody appreciates those comments that you've made. Yeah, hopefully we can do this again at the end of this year for Your Best Shot 2024. So get out there, get clicking those buttons, get those images, get them uploaded this year to Flickr, and we look forward to judging them at the end of the year. But stay tuned for some fun things. This is, just about to move into the February for the celebrations for our 20th anniversary at Flickr. So it's going to be a lot of fun things happening in the coming weeks. Both Frederick and myself will be hosting separate photo walks to celebrate the birthday, the 20th anniversary of Flickr. You can join myself if you're in London on our anniversary, which is the 10th of February. If you go check out the Facebook page, there's an event there on the Flickr's Facebook page. You'll find it and Flickr social, some details there about the walk, but I will be hosting a nice friendly Flickr photo walk to celebrate the anniversary in London at 11 a.m. on February the 10th. We'll be doing a little bit of trailing around London, but we're going to finish in the British Museum, a very famous photo spot. Some great opportunities to capture some street type photography in there. So come join me. But Frederick, you're at the end of the month, the 24th of February, you're hosting a nice photo walk in San Francisco with us as well.
Yes, we are. Yeah, yours sounds amazing too. We'll be downtown San Francisco on the Embarcadero. So we're going to start at, and all the details will be on the blog, so you don't need to write any of this down. But we're going to start at one end over by Red's Java House and then meander our way down to Pier 23 and take photos along the way. I went down there this past weekend and kind of meandered around to note the places that would be great for photography. And it turned out it wasn't really a necessary trip because you could just aim your camera in any direction down there and get a great shot. So it'll be great. Yeah. So we're going to have a bunch of, I'll be there kind of leading the group, but then there'll be executives from the company, from Flickr down there, Smug Mug. Hopefully we'll have a bunch of the team members that are involved with Flickr. So if you want to show up and actually shake hands with the people that built the OG of photo sharing services, and maybe get some swag, come on down and hang out, shake my hand, shake their hands, and congratulate them.
20 years. It's been a long time. We've been here for a bunch of it, but yeah, thank you everybody who supports Flickr, supports this competition, and look forward to a nice month next month celebrating our 20th anniversary. Right, everybody, get back to work, get out there, get taking pictures. Go check out all the winners. We will post links. We'll have a blog post coming out with links to all the winners and some more notes that as we reach out to the winners and get those details. But Frederick, thank you, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, look after each other, and we'll see you back here on the channel for some more content. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody.